my question for you was, when do you know when equipment has outlived value and when it's time to like replace it?
Yeah, like the big thing I'm looking at is cost of downtime as well as the cost to maintain and repair, right? So whether it be trucks, equipment, etc., when it starts to break down and be unreliable, that is like it's a huge cost to the business because now I need backups, right? So either A, I can go get 4 or 5 new trucks, for example, or I'm going to go get 6 or 7 more used trucks with the expectation that there's going to be, any given time, probably a few times a year, where one of those trucks are going to go down. And so you're either paying for, nicer equipment, newer equipment, et cetera, or you're paying for the fact that you're going to have some maintenance. And so when that maintenance starts to get extremely high, that, when it comes to trucks, you're thinking like engines, transmissions, et cetera. On something like a trailer, honestly, you can usually patch it pretty good because it needs tires, brakes, and as long as the chassis is good, in the dump operation, or if it has a dump operation, and then it's like, well, what's the cost of appearance too, right? Like the cost to your brand. Like if you have an old piece of metal that's rusting and like looking horrible, that's definitely also should be taken into a brand equation. But honestly, like, is this a dump trailer or what kind of trailer?
Right. It's a dump trailer, and we're up in Ohio, so we have downtime in the winter. And over the years, we've maintained it over the winter time and the downtime, and we've repainted it a few times. So I mean, it doesn't look that bad till you like if you know about dump trailers and you get up close, and if you peer into the inside of the dump trailer, you see the floor is pretty warped, and it's probably to the point where like if one of my guys gets pulled over with it, it might be like, I don't know, the cop might say something about it. But yeah, I think it's outlived its time. But like, when do you really want to allocate all that money toward investing into a new trailer?
Yeah, like something like a dump trailer can usually last quite a long time with patching it up, repainting it, putting new tires on it, putting new brakes on it. It comes down to the fact, like, if you're going to spend $10,000 on something brand new, like a dump trailer, the fact is this dump trailer lasted you 20 years. If you divide, $10,000 by 20 years, all of a sudden it's $500 a year. That's not so bad to get a brand new trailer, assuming you're using it every day. And if it's warped floors after 20 years, probably you're using it all the time. Could you cut out the metal, resurface the flooring, etc.? Yes. Are you going to spend how much on that? I don't know. For some people, if they're really good mechanically, they might go get some great scrap metal, weld it all on, and for $200 have a brand new, floor of their trailer. If you're not mechanical like myself and you don't know how to weld, you might pay someone $400 or $500 on top of that. If you're in some areas, that much metal might cost you $500-$600 in and of itself. So then it's like, well, if I'm going to pay $1,500 to have this resurfaced, should I go pay 8 or 9 or 10 grand to get a brand new one that's going to last me 20 years without having to do this all the time? So there's always the cost of like also how long you are going to keep this piece of equipment. And that's why, like, a lot of times I don't recommend people buying brand new trucks, for example, not because I don't think it's a good investment, but because most businesses statistically don't last 10, 15 years. And statistically, in order to make it worthwhile, you need to keep the truck for 5, 10 years. But if I'm speaking the vast majority of people that are starting a lawn care business, they are not going to be in business in 5 years. The vast majority of them. 10 years, not a shot. There's going to be very few of them. And so when I talk about buying used equipment, you got to keep in mind, I'm talking to the general public. I think buying a brand new piece of equipment is probably a good idea for most people if they're going to be in business for the next 10 or 20 years. Unfortunately, the vast majority of people are not.